The massive alien fleet appeared in Earth space like a dark storm cloud blocking out the stars. Admiral Zexthera commanded the Korthak Armada from her flagship Destroyer of Worlds. The ship was 10 miles long with weapons that could turn planets into dust. She had conquered 47 systems in the past decade, and Earth would be number 48. The blue planet looked so peaceful from space. Small white clouds drifted over green continents and blue oceans. The humans living down there had no idea what was coming. They were a young species that had barely reached their own moon. Their technology was primitive, and their military was weak. This would be easy. Captain Lisa Morgan stood in the hidden command center buried deep beneath the lunar surface. She wore the uniform of the Terran Defense Force, but that organization did not officially exist. According to galactic records, humans had no military beyond basic planetary defense. The truth was very different. The command center hummed with activity. Officers moved between stations that looked ancient but functioned perfectly. The technology was 300 years old, but it had been built to last. Lisa watched the alien fleet on the main screen, counting their numbers. The Korthak had brought 3,000 ships. They were confident. Lieutenant Amy Tucker worked at the communications station monitoring alien transmissions. The Korthak were not trying to hide their intentions. They planned to demand complete surrender, followed by the enslavement of the entire human population. Standard procedure for them. Colonel Kelly Brooks supervised the engineering teams as they began activation sequences that had not been used in centuries. Deep beneath the lunar surface, massive engines started to wake up. Power flowed through systems that had been dormant since the Great Peace began. The ancient ships were stirring. Major Michelle Davis coordinated with hidden bases throughout the solar system. Each base held ships that the galaxy believed could not exist. Human technology that had been deliberately hidden from view. The deception had lasted 3 centuries, but now it would end. The Korthak fleet moved into attack formation around Earth. Their ships were impressive, by galactic standards. Heavy armor, thick shields, and weapons that fired plasma hot enough to melt steel. They had destroyed the fleets of dozens of civilizations. Nothing could stand against them. Admiral Zexthera opened communications with the human government. She expected to see leaders begging for mercy. Instead, she found herself speaking to a woman who showed no fear at all. President Patricia Williams sat calmly in the Oval Office, as if alien invasion was a minor inconvenience. The president listened to the surrender demands without reaction. When the admiral finished speaking, Patricia smiled and said, "Humanity needed time to consider the terms. 1 hour would be sufficient." Zexthera was annoyed but agreed. An hour would not change, though. Outcome deep in the lunar facility. Captain Morgan activated systems that had not seen light for 300 years. The Titan-class battleships began their startup sequences. Each ship was the size of a small city with armor made from materials that did not officially exist. Their weapons could crack. Moon's commander Rebecca Stone supervised the awakening of the Terra-class destroyers. These ships were smaller than the Titans but still massive by alien standards. They moved through space, like living things powered by engines that bent reality itself. The aliens had no idea what was coming. The first phase of startup took 30 minutes. Ancient artificial intelligences came online and began running diagnostics. Systems that had been built during humanity's greatest war were functioning perfectly. The ships had been waiting patiently for this moment. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams monitored the Korthak fleet from stealth reconnaissance platforms. The aliens were growing impatient. They had detected some unusual energy readings but dismissed them as unimportant. Human technology was supposed to be primitive. Major Sandra Phillips worked with the weapon systems teams as they brought online cannons that fired controlled black holes in shields that existed in multiple dimensions. The technology was so advanced that most aliens would call it magic. Humans had learned to treat physics like a suggestion. The ancient shipyards hidden throughout the solar system began opening, massive doors that had been sealed for centuries. Behind those doors waited fleets that could conquer galaxies. Humanity had once been a warrior race that fought wars across multiple star systems. They had chosen peace but kept their weapons captain. Morgan walked through corridors lined with memorial walls showing the faces of those who had died in the ancient wars. Billions had perished before humanity learned to control their violent nature. They had decided to hide their true power and pretend to be a young, peaceful species. The deception had worked perfectly. The galaxy saw humans as explorers and scientists who had just discovered space travel. They traded peacefully and avoided conflicts. Most aliens thought humans were too weak to be a threat. The truth was carefully hidden. Director Nancy Clark coordinated with intelligence networks that had been watching alien civilizations for centuries. Human agents were embedded in governments across the galaxy. They reported back on military capabilities, political situations, and potential threats. The Korthak had been watched for decades. The 50-minute mark passed and final systems came online. The hidden fleet was ready. Ancient war machines that had slept for 3 centuries were now fully operational. Each ship was crewed by humans who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Their ancestors had been warriors, and that heritage lived on. Admiral Zexthara grew tired of waiting. The human hour was almost over. Soon, she would begin the bombardment that would reduce their cities to ash. The Korthak Empire would gain another slave world, and she would claim another victory for her record captain. Morgan returned to the command center where her officers waited for orders. The main screen showed the alien fleet in perfect attack formation. They had no idea that human ships were already in position around them. Stealth technology kept the ancient vessels invisible. The countdown reached 0, and Admiral Zexthara prepared to give the order to fire. But Captain Morgan spoke first, opening a channel that reached every ship in both fleets. Her voice was calm and confident as she delivered an ultimatum that would change everything. Captain Morgan opened a direct communication link to the alien flagship. Her image appeared on Admiral Zexthara Bridge, showing a woman who displayed no fear despite facing a fleet of 3,000 ships. The human captain began to speak with authority that made even hardened warriors nervous. Admiral, let me tell you the true history of humanity. 300 years ago, we were not the peaceful explorers you believe us to be. We were conquerors who ruled an empire spanning dozens of galaxies. Our fleets numbered in the millions, and our weapons could unmake stars themselves. The alien commander listened in growing horror as the truth unfolded before her. The humans had been hiding their nature for centuries, pretending to be weak while secretly maintaining enough power to dominate the galaxy. Lisa continued her explanation. We fought wars that lasted millennia and destroyed entire civilizations in our hunger for conquest. Billions died as human fleets swept across space, bringing order through superior firepower. We were the apex predators of the universe. Commander Rebecca Stone piloted her destroyer closer to the alien flagship. The ship Vengeance had personally destroyed over 200 enemy vessels during the ancient wars. Its hull bore scars from battles fought before most current civilizations had discovered fire. But we grew tired of endless conflict. Captain Morgan said, our philosophers and scientists convinced us that true strength lay not in conquest, but in restraint. We made the hardest decision any warrior race has ever made. We chose peace over power. The human fleet demonstrated their capabilities as ancient weapon systems came online. Cannons that fired miniature black holes began charging, while reality, warping shields activated around each vessel. The technology was beyond alien comprehension. We dismantled our war fleets and hid the remaining ships in secret locations throughout space. Lisa explained, we created the fiction of humanity as young explorers who had just discovered faster than light travel. The deception was perfect because we wanted it to be. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams monitored the alien fleet from her stealth ship as panic spread through their ranks. Officers were abandoning their posts while others begged their commanders to surrender. The sight of human war machines had broken their will to fight. Major Sandra Phillips coordinated the weapons demonstration as Titan-class battleships revealed their true firepower. A single shot from the ship Infinity dissolved an asteroid the size of Manhattan into component atoms. The display was meant to terrify, and it succeeded perfectly. We have watched from the shadows for 3 centuries. Captain Morgan continued, our agents infiltrated every major government while our scientists studied your technologies. Your entire galactic civilization developed under our hidden observation. Admiral Zexthara tried to process what she was hearing. The implications were staggering. If humans had been watching for centuries, then they knew the strengths and weaknesses of every major power. The Korthak Empire had no secrets from them. Director Nancy Clark activated sleeper agents throughout Korthak space. As the revelation spread, human operatives who had spent decades building cover identities suddenly revealed themselves. Intelligence networks that had been dormant for generations came alive. The ancient ships continued their display of power as more vessels emerged. From hidden bases, dreadnoughts that existed partially outside normal space moved through the alien formation, while reality bent around their hulls. Colonel Kelly Brooks supervised the engineering teams as they brought additional systems online. The ships drew power from sources that violated known physics reactors that tapped into the quantum foam itself, providing unlimited energy. We chose to appear weak so that younger species could develop without our interference, Lisa explained. But we never stopped watching and we never stopped preparing. The galaxy has become dangerous and our patience has limits. The alien fleet tried to maintain formation, but human jamming technology was disrupting their communications. Ships lost contact with their commanders while navigation systems failed one by one. The Korthak Armada was falling apart. Lieutenant Amy Tucker intercepted alien transmissions as word of the confrontation spread across known space. News of human capabilities was causing panic in multiple star systems as civilizations realized they had been living under the protection of hidden guardians. Commander Rebecca Stone felt the battle fury of her ancestors through her neural interface. The ship Vengeance remembered wars that had reshaped galaxies and longed to demonstrate its power once again. Major Michelle Davis coordinated with the Leviathan-class vessels as they moved into attack positions. Each ship carried enough firepower to sterilize entire solar systems. Their presence alone was changing the balance of galactic power. The human demonstration reached its climax as Captain Morgan revealed the final truth. Admiral, what you see before you represents less than 1% of our actual military capability. These ships are relics from our past, kept as reminders of what we once were. Admiral Zexthera felt her confidence crumble as she realized the full scope of human deception. If these ancient vessels were just museum pieces, then the real fleet must be beyond imagination. Our current generation ships remain in deep storage. Lisa continued. They are powered by technologies that your science cannot even theorize. Ships that exist outside the normal flow of time and space itself. The alien commander understood that resistance was not just futile but suicidal. The humans could have conquered the galaxy at any point during the past 3 centuries. The fact that they had chosen restraint was the only reason any other civilization still existed. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams reported from her stealth position that several alien ships were attempting to escape, but human interdiction fields made faster-than-light travel impossible. The entire Korthak fleet was trapped. We are offering you a choice. Captain Morgan said your fleet can withdraw immediately and spread word of what you have seen here. Or you can attempt to fight and learn why the ancient galaxy feared the mention of our name. Major Sandra Phillips watched as weapon systems crossing. The human fleet reached full combat readiness. Every ship was prepared for battle but hoped it would not be necessary. The demonstration had been designed to avoid bloodshed. Admiral Zexthera looked around her bridge at officers who were paralyzed with fear. The revelation of human capabilities had shattered everything they believed about galactic power structures. Director Nancy Clark coordinated with intelligence assets as the news spread. Human agents throughout known space began preparing for the chaos that would follow as every government reassessed their relationship with humanity. The ancient fleet held position around the alien armada, waiting for a decision that would determine the future of galactic civilization. The age of human secrecy was ending, and a new era was about to begin. Captain Morgan waited for the alien response, knowing that the next few moments would reshape the balance of power throughout the galaxy forever. The news of humanity's true nature spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within hours of the Korthak fleet departure, every major civilization had received detailed reports of the encounter. The galaxy would never be the same, Captain. Morgan stood in the Lunar Command Center watching as diplomatic messages flooded human communication networks. The Nexari Confederation had sent envoys begging for protection, while the Vorthon Syndicate offered immediate tribute. The revelation had triggered exactly the response human planners had predicted. 3 centuries of careful observation had taught them how each species would react to the discovery that Earth was not a primitive world, but the center of a hidden empire. Lieutenant Amy Tucker coordinated responses to thousands of incoming transmissions. As panic spread through alien government, species that had dismissed humanity as irrelevant were now desperate to establish friendly relations. Admiral Zexthara reached Korthak space and immediately transmitted her report to the High Command. The ruling council listened in horror as she described human capabilities that defied their understanding of physics. The Korthak Empire began immediate withdrawal from occupied territories, as ordered. The economic cost was staggering, but the alternative was extinction at the hands of beings who could unmake reality itself. Director Nancy Clark received reports from agents throughout known space as governments fell into chaos. The careful balance of galactic power had been shattered by the revelation that humanity had been controlling events from the shadows. Commander Rebecca Stone piloted her destroyer back to its hidden base near Jupiter. The ancient vessel would return to standby status but could be activated again at a moment's notice. The galaxy now knew that human patience had limits. The first diplomatic delegation arrived at Earth within days. The Alarian Republic sent their finest ambassadors along with gifts that represented half their annual economic output. They begged for continued human protection. Captain Morgan met with the alien diplomats in facilities that had been prepared for this moment. The meeting room contained artifacts from humanity, ancient wars, including weapons that had been used to conquer galaxies. "We have observed your species for 2 centuries, she told the terrified ambassadors. "Your people are peaceful traders who harm no one. You have nothing to fear from humanity, as long as that remains true, Major." Michelle Davis supervised the transition as human fleets began emerging from their hidden bases. The ancient ships would remain visible to remind the galaxy that humanity was watching. The Zephyrin Collective immediately offered to share all their scientific research with humanity. Their leaders understood that cooperation was the only path to survival in the new galactic order. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams coordinated intelligence operations as human agents revealed themselves throughout. Known space operatives who had spent decades building cover identities could now work openly. The galactic economy went into freefall as species realized that humanity had been manipulating trade routes and resource distribution for centuries. Every major economic decision had been influenced by human agents. Colonel Kelly Brooks began activating additional ship classes as humanity prepared to take a more visible role in galactic affairs. Vessels that had been dormant for centuries stirred to life in hidden shipyards. Within weeks, the political map of the galaxy had completely changed. The Korthak Empire fragmented as former subject worlds declared independence under human protection. Aggressive species suddenly became peaceful traders. The hegemony of Brass immediately disbanded their military and requested human oversight of their government. They understood that their history of oppression made them targets for the new galactic order. Major Sandra Phillips coordinated with newly revealed human facilities as the pretense of being a minor species was finally abandoned. Earth was revealed to be the capital of a civilization that spanned multiple galaxies. Captain Morgan received a priority transmission from the galactic core, where ancient human installations had remained hidden for millennia. The deep space fleets were requesting permission to reveal themselves. The crystalline mines offered to serve as human vassals in exchange for protection from species that might seek revenge for their past actions. Even artificial intelligences recognized the new reality. Lieutenant Amy Tucker processed thousands of surrender documents as minor aggressive species abandoned their military ambitions. The sight of human war, machines had convinced them that conquest was no longer possible. Director Nancy Clark coordinated the revelation of human colonies that had been disguised as alien worlds for centuries. Populations that had appeared to be various species were revealed to be human settlers. The galaxy learned that humanity controlled resources and territory far beyond what anyone had imagined. Solar systems that appeared uninhabited contained massive industrial complexes hidden from view. Admiral Zexthara met with the remaining Korthak leadership as they prepared to announce their transformation from empire to republic. The military caste would be dissolved and replaced with civilian government. Commander Rebecca Stone received orders to join a patrol fleet that would enforce the new galactic order. The ancient destroyer Vengeance would work alongside ships from dozens of species to maintain peace. The Merchant Guild collapsed overnight as traders realized that human agents had been controlling interstellar commerce for generations. Every major trade deal had been approved or rejected by hidden human authorities. Captain Morgan addressed the galaxy through communication networks that reached every inhabited world. Humanity has emerged from the shadows to take our rightful place as guardians of galactic civilization. Species that embraced peace and cooperation would find themselves under human protection, while aggressive civilizations would face the full might of technology that could unmake stars themselves. Major Michelle Davis oversaw the deployment of human peacekeeping forces to former conflict zones. Ancient ships that had once conquered galaxies now worked to maintain stability and prevent wars. The transformation was complete. Within months, what had once been a galaxy divided by conflict and aggression became a peaceful confederation under human oversight. Species that had fought for millennia learned to cooperate. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams established the new intelligence-sharing protocols that would prevent future conflicts. Information networks that had been hidden for centuries became the foundation for galactic security. The age of human secrecy was over, and the galaxy was better for it. Wars that had raged for generations ended overnight, as species realized that humanity had been preventing their escalation. Captain Morgan looked out at the stars from her command center, knowing that the difficult part was just beginning. Managing a galactic civilization would require all the wisdom humanity had gained during centuries of hidden observation. The galaxy had learned that sometimes the greatest strength lay in restraint, and that true power came from choosing when not to use overwhelming force. Humanity had proven that evolution was possible even for warrior races. The ancient ships returned to their hidden bases but remained ready for activation if needed. The galaxy now knew that human patience had limits, and that knowledge would keep the peace for generations to come. Peace had finally come to the galaxy under the protection of beings who had learned to choose wisdom over conquest. Admiral Zexthera stared at the tactical display showing thousands of human ships that had appeared from nowhere. Her fleet was completely surrounded by vessels that defied every law of physics she understood. The Korthak Empire had never faced anything like this. The alien commander tried to maintain her composure as she addressed her bridge crew officers, who had conquered dozens of worlds, now looked terrified as they realized they were facing something beyond their comprehension. Captain Morgan waited patiently for the alien response while monitoring the positions of her ancient fleet. The human ships held formation with mechanical precision, each vessel ready for combat, but hoping to avoid it. Lieutenant Amy Tucker intercepted frantic communications between Korthak vessels as their commanders tried to understand what they were facing. Reports of impossible technologies and reality-defying capabilities flooded the alien communication networks. Commander Rebecca Stone felt her destroyer Vengeance responding to her emotions through neural interfaces. The ship artificial intelligence was eager for battle after centuries of dormancy. Its weapons systems hummed with barely contained energy. The first alien ship attempted to escape by jumping to hyperspace but found its engines completely disabled. Human interdiction fields blocked all faster than light travel within the solar system. The Korthak fleet was effectively trapped. Major Michelle Davis coordinated the Leviathan-class ships as they demonstrated their planet-killing capabilities. A focused energy beam carved geometric patterns into a nearby asteroid showing perfect precision and overwhelming power. Admiral Zexthera realized that surrender was the only option that would allow her fleet to survive. The human demonstration had proven that resistance would result in complete annihilation. Her 3,000 ships meant nothing against such overwhelming technological superiority. The alien commander opened communications with Captain Morgan. Her voice carried defeat as she spoke. "We surrender to the superior forces of humanity. The Korthak fleet submits to your authority and requests permission to withdraw." Lisa Morgan smiled, as the first part of her plan succeeded. The aliens had chosen survival over pride, which would make the next phase much easier. "We accept your surrender, Admiral, but there are conditions that must be met." Colonel Kelly Brooks monitored the power systems as ancient engines continued running at full capacity. The ships drew energy from sources that existed outside normal space, creating power levels that alien science could not measure. You will return to your empire and report exactly what you have witnessed here. Captain, Morgan continued, your government will receive a complete recording of this encounter, including detailed scans of our vessel capabilities. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams piloted her stealth ship through the alien formation, gathering intelligence on their technology and capabilities. The information would be used to update human databases that had been tracking alien development for centuries. The Korthak Empire will immediately cease all aggressive expansion and withdraw from territories conquered within the past 50 years, Lisa continued. Any civilizations currently under your control will be granted immediate independence. Major Sandra Phillips supervised weapons systems as the fleet maintained battle readiness. The demonstration had been effective, but the humans remained prepared for treachery. Alien desperation could still lead to foolish attacks. Director Nancy Clark activated communication networks that would spread news of the encounter across the galaxy. Human agents, embedded in dozens of governments, began preparing their superiors for the revelation that would change everything. Admiral Zexthera listened to the human demands with growing horror. The economic impact of withdrawing from conquered territories would devastate the Korthak Empire, but refusal would mean complete destruction at the hands of beings who treated physics as a suggestion. Furthermore, Captain Morgan continued, any attempt to develop weapons specifically designed to counter human technology will be considered an act of war. Our monitoring systems will detect such efforts immediately. The alien commander understood that humanity had been watching galactic civilization for centuries. Human intelligence networks were embedded so deeply that no secret could be kept from them. Lieutenant Amy Tucker began broadcasting the encounter to hidden human facilities throughout known space. The revelation would need to be carefully managed to prevent panic among allied species, Commander. Rebecca Stone received orders to escort the alien flagship during its departure. The destroyer Vengeance would ensure that no Korthak vessel attempted to attack human positions during the withdrawal. You will also broadcast a general message throughout your territory. Captain Morgan added, the message will explain that the Korthak Empire has encountered a superior civilization and is withdrawing from aggressive activities. Major Michelle Davis coordinated with intelligence assets as they prepared for the political chaos that would follow. Every major government would need to reassess their relationship with humanity. The ancient fleet began standing down from full combat alert, but remained ready for immediate action. Trust would take time to build, and aliens were known for their unpredictable responses to defeat. Admiral Zexthera realized that accepting the human terms was the only way to save her empire from complete destruction. The revelation of human capabilities had made continued aggression impossible. We accept your terms, Captain, the alien commander transmitted. Your conditions will be communicated to the Korthak High Command immediately. We request permission to begin immediate withdrawal from this system. Captain Morgan nodded as the first phase of humanity emergence from secrecy reached its conclusion. Permission granted. Admiral, your fleet has 1 hour to clear Earth space. After that, our patience will become significantly limited. Colonel Kelly Brooks began shutdown procedures for the most power-intensive systems, while keeping the fleet at readiness level 2. The ancient ships would remain visible as a reminder of human capabilities. The Korthak fleet began organizing for departure, while human ships maintained overwatch positions. Every alien vessel was monitored by multiple human systems, ensuring compliance with the withdrawal order. Director Nancy Clark coordinated with sleeper agents throughout Korthak space as news of the defeat spread. The Empire political structure would need time to absorb the implications of encountering a truly superior civilization. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams transmitted detailed intelligence reports to human command centers hidden throughout the galaxy. The information would help prepare for the political realignments that were certain to follow. As the alien fleet prepared to leave, Admiral Zexthera made one final transmission. Captain Morgan, your revelation will change everything. The galaxy will never be the same after today. Lisa smiled as she replied, that is exactly what we intended. Admiral, The age of human secrecy is ending. It is time for the galaxy to know who has been watching over them. The Korthak ships began their departure while human vessels maintained formation. The ancient fleet would remain visible until the aliens were gone, then return to their hidden positions. Captain Morgan prepared for the next phase of the plan as word of the encounter spread across known space. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was not what it appeared to be. Captain Morgan's voice echoed across space as she addressed both fleets. "This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the Terran Defense Force. You have invaded human territory and threatened our people. You have exactly 60 seconds to begin withdrawal procedures, or face the consequences." Admiral Zexthara laughed at what she considered an empty threat. The humans had nothing that could challenge her massive fleet. Their primitive ships were barely capable of reaching orbit. How could they possibly threaten the mighty Korthak armada? The alien admiral opened her own communication channel, mocking the human captain. "Your species will learn respect when we turn your cities to glass. Prepare to watch your world burn while your people scream for mercy." Lisa remained calm as she gave orders to her fleet. "Begin Phase 1 reveal. Stealth systems deactivate on my mark. Let them see what they are truly facing. Show them the price of threatening humanity." Space around Earth began to shimmer as cloaking fields dropped away. The first Titan-class battleship materialized behind the moon. Its massive hull blocked out the stars as it moved into view. The ship was 15 miles long with armor that seemed to drink in light itself. The Korthak bridge fell silent as sensors registered the impossible readings. The ship was larger than anything in their database. Its energy signature was beyond their understanding. How had something so massive remained hidden? More ships appeared throughout the solar system, ancient human vessels that had been waiting in perfect stillness. Each one was unique in design, but all shared the same terrifying presence. They moved with grace despite their enormous size. Commander Rebecca Stone piloted the Terra-class destroyer, vengeance through space toward the alien fleet. The ship responded to her thoughts through neural interfaces that connected her mind directly to its systems. She could feel the weapons charging and the shields strengthening. The alien fleet tried to analyze the human ships, but their scanners could not penetrate the strange armor, materials that absorbed sensor beams and deflected scanning attempts. The technology was completely unknown to them. Lieutenant Amy Tucker monitored alien communications. As panic spread through their ranks, ships were reporting system failures as human jamming technology interfered with their equipment. The Korthak were losing control of their own vessels. Major Michelle Davis coordinated the movements of 12 Leviathan-class ships as they emerged from hidden positions near the asteroid belt. Each ship was the size of a space station with weapons that could destroy entire fleets. The aliens had never seen anything like them. Admiral Zexthara tried to maintain order as her fleet fell into chaos. Half her ships could not establish communication, and the other half were reporting impossible sensor readings. The human vessels seemed to exist partially outside normal space. Colonel Kelly Brooks supervised the power systems as ancient engines reached full capacity. The ships drew energy from sources that defied explanation, reactors that tapped into the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Power that could fuel civilizations. The human fleet moved into combat formation with mechanical precision. Each ship knew its position and role in the coming battle. They had drilled these maneuvers for centuries, waiting for the day when they would finally be used. Captain Morgan opened communications with the lead alien ship. "Admiral, you are facing the descendants of a warrior race that once fought wars across entire galaxies. We chose peace, but we never forgot how to wage war." The first demonstration began as the battleship Eternal Wrath targeted a Korthak heavy cruiser. The weapon that fired was invisible to most sensors, but when it struck the alien ship, something impossible happened. The vessel's main cannon simply vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, but completely erased from existence, as if it had never been built at all. The technology was beyond alien comprehension. Matter displacement on a scale they could not imagine. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Adams operated the stealth ship, Shadow Walker, as it moved through the alien formation, undetected. The vessel could phase between dimensions, making it impossible to target or track. She gathered intelligence on enemy capabilities. More human ships revealed themselves as the demonstration continued. Ancient carriers that launched fighter craft made of pure energy. Dreadnoughts that existed in multiple realities simultaneously. Technology that seemed like magic to alien minds. Major Sandra Phillips coordinated the weapon systems across the fleet as they prepared for battle. Each ship carried armaments that had been perfected during humanity. Greatest conflicts. Weapons that could unmake reality itself. The Korthak fleet tried to respond but found their systems failing. Human cyber warfare programs invaded their networks, turning their own computers against them. Ships lost navigation control, weapons refused to fire, and life support systems began shutting down. Admiral Zexthera realized she was facing something beyond her understanding. These were not primitive humans exploring space for the first time. This was an ancient civilization with technology that defied comprehension. Commander Rebecca Stone felt the battle rage of her ancestors flowing through her neural link. The ship Vengeance had fought in wars that predated most alien civilizations. Its artificial intelligence remembered conflicts that had reshaped entire star systems. The human fleet continued to reveal itself as more ships dropped their cloaking. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering and warfare. Technology ships that had been built when humanity ruled multiple galaxies before choosing the path of peace. Captain Morgan's voice carried across space once again. Admiral, you are seeing museum pieces. These are our oldest and least advanced vessels, the ships we use for parades and ceremonies. Our actual war fleet remains in deep storage. The alien commander felt terror creeping into her hearts as she realized the implications. If these ancient ships were just for show, then what did humanity, actual military, look like? How much power were they hiding? Director Nancy Clark coordinated with human agents embedded throughout alien space as word of the confrontation spread. Intelligence networks that had been watching for centuries began activating, preparing for the chaos that would follow. The demonstration continued as human ships displayed capabilities that violated known physics. Vessels that could exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Weapons that fired backwards through time. Shields that existed in parallel dimensions. Lieutenant Amy Tucker intercepted alien transmissions as news of the battle spread across the galaxy. The Korthak Empire was calling for reinforcements, while other civilizations watched in shock. The secret was out and everything would change. Major Michelle Davis supervised the Leviathan ships as they demonstrated their planet-killing capabilities. A single focused beam carved a canyon across a dead moon, showing what would happen to any world that threatened humanity. The ancient fleet moved with perfect coordination as if controlled by a single mind. Ship artificial intelligences that had evolved over centuries worked together in ways that organic crews could never match. Admiral Zexthara realized her fleet was trapped. Human ships surrounded them from all directions and escape was impossible. The technology gap was so vast that resistance would be meaningless. Captain Morgan prepared to make an offer that would reshape galactic politics forever.